5. All wars should be systematic, for every war should have an aim and be conducted in conformity with the principles and rules of the art. War should be undertaken with forces corresponding to the magnitude of the obstacles that are to be anticipated. 6. At the commencement of a campaign, the question whether to advance or not requires careful deliberation, but when you have once undertaken the offensive, it should be maintained to the last extremity. A retreat, however skillful the maneuvers may be, will always produce an injurious moral effect on the army, since by losing the chances of success yourself, you throw them into the hands of the enemy. Besides, retreats cost far more, both in men and materiel, than the most bloody engagements, with this difference, that in a battle the enemy loses nearly as much as you, while in a retreat the loss is all on your side. 7. An army should be every day, every night, and every hour, ready to offer all the resistance of which it is capable. It is necessary, therefore, that the soldiers should always have their arms and ammunition at hand, that the infantry should always have with it its artillery, cavalry, and generals, that the different divisions of the army should be always in a position to assist, support, and protect each other, that whether encamped, marching, or halted, the troops should be always in advantageous positions, possessing the qualities required for every field of battle. That is to say, the flanks should be well supported, and the artillery so placed that it may all be brought into play. When the army is in column of march, there must be advanced guards and flank guards to observe the enemy's movements in front, on the right, and on the left, and at sufficient distances to allow the main body of the arm to deploy and take up its position. 8. A general should say to himself many times a day, if the hostile army were to make its appearance in front, on my right or on my left, what should I do? And if he is embarrassed, his arrangements are bad, there is something wrong, he must rectify his mistake. 9. The strength of an army, like the momentum in mechanics, is estimated by the weight multiplied by the velocity. A rapid march exerts a beneficial moral influence on the army and increases its means of victory.